Hey everyone, welcome back to Pick Six, the NFL betting preview show out of the Fell Football Podcast. My name is Ollie, and I'm joined by my co-host Liam, as always. And for the first time this season, we both had winning records last week, 9-3 combined, including a 3-1 winner, which was very nice. That was courtesy of you, Liam. Starting to come together now, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, it's been due. It's absolutely been
Has.
due. So yeah, I was a bit gutted I didn't get the old 6-0 in the end, but we'll definitely take 5-1.
Absolutely. And just quickly before we start, I think this must be one of the first weeks that I can remember in a long time where I believe there's only one game total below 40 points, which I think is Steelers Giants. I think the rest are all above 40. I can't remember the last time that was the case. I don't know if you,
Okay. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of scoring last week. I think it was quite a high scoring week for games, so maybe that has impacted it.
I mean, ever since everyone
Um,
was crying about cover two, there's just been loads
yeah,
of points. There's just been touchdowns everywhere. All right. Regardless, I will kick us off with one of the same picks that I did last week. I'm taking the Bills -3 versus the Seahawks. And to be honest, I'm just going to keep riding the Bills until I see proof otherwise that they're not that good. And I believe they are very good this year. And the Seahawks are likely to be without their best receiver, DK Metcalf. And the Bills are just playing good complementary football right now. They swept the Titans aside last week, who actually are a pretty good defense, especially on the ground. And now they get a pretty favorable matchup versus the Seahawks team that are not very good on the ground, give up 146 rushing yards per game. The Bills run the ball well. They've got Ray Davis, who seems to have come out of nowhere, who's good. Obviously, James Cook, Josh Allen can run the ball. Just feels like a game they're going to take control of pretty early and see out from there. So yeah, at least a field goal feels pretty good to me. Bills -3.
very nice, mate. I will start with the team that stopped us getting 6-0 last week. I'm still going to go against them. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins -3. 10 to 13, bought half a point there. Kyler Murray's not won back-to-back games in his last 32 starts, which is pretty crazy to me when I saw that. Obviously, with the win on Monday night over Chargers, that's very much in play here. Cardinals also off a bit of a short week, traveling across the country to play in that early slot, which is always stings the West Coast teams. They also lose an hour, I believe, as well. The games start at 5 o'clock over here, so
Yep.
who knows how much that hour may impact them. And yeah, just like the Dolphins, Tua's back at the helm. Just like the vibes there. Tyreek Hill seems very confident that everyone should put him back in his fantasy lineup. So
Yeah.
yeah, give me the Finns -3.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense to me. Next up, I'm taking the Ravens versus Browns over of 44.5. I just think with Jameis back in, Chubb a week further along his comeback, the Browns can probably put together 14 to 17-ish points here. And obviously, the Ravens, the form they're in, they could probably cover the 45 points by themselves, let's be honest. The Browns now freed from the shackles of Deshaun Watson. It feels like they sort of might be backable again because I do genuinely believe that although Jameis is pretty much the definition of boom bust, they have some life on offense again. And I think he is a massive upgrade on Deshaun, or what was the ghost of Deshaun playing earlier this year. O-line's decent. They're getting Wyatt Teller back, I believe, the guard. But yeah, the Ravens just playing very good ball right now. I was close to taking the -9, but just about feel a little bit better about there being 45 points in this one. I know it's a divisional game. They tend to be a little bit tetchy, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be semi-high scoring. The Ravens' pass defense isn't very good. I think Browns might have some joy there. So yeah, give me Ravens, Browns over 44.5.
Yeah, Ravens overs been very good to me this season. Going for another favorite here this time on the road. Give me the Green Bay Packers. Not even going to mess with the -3. Just going to take it straight up. -4. That's 10 to 11. Honestly, when I saw this earlier, I thought it'd just be. I just presumed it would be closer to a touchdown. 6.5, 7. So when I saw the -4, snapped it up. Jags obviously have been in London the last 2 weeks. An embarrassing loss to fellow NFC North team, and then a win against the pretty embarrassing Patriots. So not taking anything on the Jags for beating the Patriots last week. Packers defense is brilliant. They absolutely killed CJ Stroud last week. So pretty much every time they flicked onto red zone, there was a sack on third down. So I feel like the Texans O line is probably a little bit better than the Jaguars. And yeah, Jordan Love's playing great at the minute as well. Some of the throws he's making are unbelievable. He is turning the ball over, but then he's just bouncing straight back with a touchdown. So yeah, not too much to worry about there. That will go down as my player of the week. Packers -4 in Jacksonville.
Mate, you can add me onto that one as well. I'm also taking the Green Bay Packers. I just think, yeah, like you said, I thought this would be close to 6.5 than 4. And I think it opened up 4.5 as well. So I'm not quite sure where the
Okay,
other extra point, half a
bit
point's
worried.
gone. But I think this is just a horrendous matchup for the Jags DBs. Jordan Love, like you said, he has got the potential to have a massive day here. The Patriots receivers definitely can't hurt the Jags in different ways. The Packers receivers can hurt the Jags in a lot of ways. And yeah, not much to add other than what you said so far. But I just think they'll win this one fairly comfortably, and 4 points does not feel like a lot to me.
From my play of the week to my sweat of the week, I'm going to say here I've got the Saints +7.5. It's 5 to 6, so it looks like it's going to drop down to 7. I'll still take it there. Make sure you get that touchdown line. But Saints are sneakily getting a few guys back this week after two pretty embarrassing performances. Bad days for the defense against the Broncos and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it's looking like there's some O-line pieces. Taysom Hill is back. Chris Olave is back. I think they'll be competitive here in a low-scoring game. And yeah, as I mentioned, for the defense, two pretty bad days, but can see a nice little bounce back spot here against not a very explosive Chargers offense. Chargers have only scored over 23 points once this season, and that was against the oh so bad Carolina Panthers. So yeah, like the Saints, getting to sort of 14, 16, 17 points and covering this 7.5, hopefully comfortably.
Drew Brees Derby, Saints Chargers.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
cool. Now we spoke about this earlier on. Player props. It is National Tight End Day on Sunday. So for all of mine, I'm going to be backing tight end props, and my first one is my player of the week, David Njoku, over 51.5 receiving yards. This feels like a super ultra mega max bet, brackets responsibly. Njoku had 14 targets last week with Jameis back in the saddle. I'm expecting an absolute ton of targets yet again. The Ravens, as I mentioned earlier, have been well below par versus the pass. 6 out of 7 QBs they faced this year have had over 265 passing yards. And then to mention some of the tight ends who've had big days: Zach Ertz, Brock Bowers, Jake Ferguson, Dalton Kincaid. And let's be honest, Njoku is basically the Browns' number one receiver now that Amari Cooper's gone. I know Cedric Tillman had about 10
Yeah.
targets as well last week. But yeah, I think this could be Njoku, 10 receptions, maybe 100-yard kind of day. Honestly, I think they're just going to throw it so much. And I think Njoku is going to be getting a lot of the workload. So yeah, that's my first player prop, David Njoku over 51.5 receiving yards, and put me down for play of the week.
Very nice, mate. I've also joined you in the three tight end props. Got to stick on trend. We'll start with Evan Ingram, over 4.5 receptions. Again, I have gone in the same game, but um,
I have two, brother,
I
so
was
it had to
I,
be
I
done.
was sort of running out of options for tight ends only. So yeah, I'll go with Evan Ingram. Uh, one of the more athletic tight ends in the league, probably the most athletic. 15 catches in the two games over in London since he's been back. Looking like he's one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite targets. Just some stats I saw. Um, Packers averaging over giving up 5 catches to tight ends per game. I think there was one game and they gave up 10. I can't remember who it was to, but pretty heavy game there. Yeah, but yeah, just looking at those numbers, they obviously suit the line we've got at 4.5. So yeah, like Ingram to grab 5 balls this game.
Yep, that seems pretty good to me. My next tight end prop is Cade Otton, and I really wanted to take touchdown here as the bet, but I'm going to take receiving yards. Obviously, Buccaneers are now down Godwin and Mike Evans. And to be honest, Otton was actually not too far behind Mike Evans in targets anyways. But it looks like he's kind of getting a pretty big workload here. I don't think they fully trust rookie Jalen McMillan yet. He's been a little bit scattergun, a little bit sketchy in his a few of his routes and getting to the end of them and whatnot. Yeah, Cade Otton had, I think he had 4 targets, 4 catches in the reverse fixture between these two last earlier this season. Um, and he was obviously he his receiving yards were just shy of 47. I think he had 44 receiving yards, but that was with both Evans and Chris Godwin active. 10 targets last week when both of them went out. Well, Godwin played the whole game, so it was just Evans who went out. And yeah, feels like another big week in store for him, to be honest. So Cade Otton over 47.5 receiving yards.
I very nearly pulled the trigger on that one, but I've gone for a Chiefs tight end here. Gone for Noah Gray, of course,
Ah,
over 24.5 receiving yards. Not many good wide receivers or ones available at all for the Chiefs at the moment. Of course, the signing of Hopkins, I'm sure he'll get a few looks, even though I think he signed yesterday, was it? Or has it even been fully announced
I
yet?
think it was fully announced today. So
Oh, today. Okay, yeah. So he's got to be up to speed of the game plan. Of course, Travis Kelce is the main threat at tight end. They're absolutely pounding the rock against the 49ers in a lot of two tight end sets. Sets up the play action lovely. For me, I think Noah Gray sneaks out. We might get this in a single catch. Last 3 games, he's gone over this number of 24 and a half. This is a bit of an inflated line compared to what he was sort of in the teens before, but yeah, still don't think it's high enough. I'm going to grab the 24.5 for Noah Gray.
lovely, lovely, lovely. I was close to taking a Kelsey prop, but nothing really stuck out to me too much. So just sort of didn't quite fancy it. My last pick is my flyer of the week. It is Cole Kmet anytime touchdown 10-3. Bears are pretty pass happy in the red zone, and they get a pretty good matchup this week against Commanders defense that has had probably one good showing this year, and that was last week versus probably the worst offense in the league, or the worst team in the league anyway, in the Panthers. It's National Tight End Day. Parlay up all of these. Don't bet more than you can lose. Have some fun with it. But it does feel like, on National Tight End Day, we do genuinely see a few more play calls for the tight end. We do see them get a little bit more. His receiving overs is 36 and a half, but I actually think I prefer the touchdown because the Bears have so many weapons who they can get the ball to. Obviously, all their receivers are well known. But Komet's a pretty big guy, 10 yards out, Caleb drops back, puts it in a bucket, Komet catches it. Thank you and good night. And those are my picks.
Yeah, I like that one. That 10-3 will definitely be going in the yeah, definitely in the touchdown bet for the weekend. Back to back 3-1 hits, hopefully. My final pick here, it's a bit of a cheeky one. It's not actually listed on UK bookies yet. Taking it from US Sportsbook. However, I think in the next couple of days, once they realise Dallas Goddard is out, this guy's line will pop up. Is Grant
Ca-
Calcaterra.
yeah, like, yeah. Grant calculator or something.
I'm hitting his under 22 and a half yards.
Oh,
Um, I know it's national time. We should be bigging these guys up, but I mean, who is this guy? I don't think he's getting 23 yards when they've got Saquon, Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown on the field. Um, Plus, for the Bengals, our linebackers probably are strength in coverage. Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt are pretty decent when it comes to defending the pass. Run, on the other hand, is a bit suspect, but yeah, definitely good defending the pass. So yeah, come on. If this guy gets over 23 yards, I don't know. I'll be shocked. So yeah, Grant Calcaterra under 22.5 receiving yards. I'll probably play this down to 18 and a half probably if it pops up on the when it finally comes um on the UK bookies. But yeah, 10 to 11 at 22.5 was the line.
You're going to feel really silly when he gets a 23-yard walk-off touchdown, mate. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I know.
All right, cool. Picks then. I will go back through mine quickly. I've got the Bills -3 against the Seahawks. Cleveland versus Baltimore over 44.5. Packers -4 versus the Jags. And the tight end props, David Njoku over 51.5 receiving yards. Cade Otton over 47.5 receiving yards. And Cole Kmet anytime touchdown.
Nice gone. Dolphins -3, Packers -4, Saints +7.5. Evan Ingram over 4.5 receptions, Noah Gray over 24.5 receiving yards, and Grant Calcaterra under 22.5 receiving yards.
There we go then. Those are the picks. We have TNF to discuss as well, which is Texans Jets next week. The Jets are 1 point favorites, and the line is 43. Texans for me, definitely.
Yeah,
Getting
can we get these? Can we get these New York teams off prime time? I mean,
I
I know
know, yeah.
I don't often stay up for prime time games, but
It's
I
back to
mean,
back.
a good 70% of them uh, have been a New York team. Obviously, the Giants are on Monday Night Football this week.
Yep.
Jets Thursday night. I mean, yeah, I don't. The Jets are very good. They might wallop the Patriots this week, but yeah, I suppose I'll take the Texans if they're underdogs there.
Yeah, the money line's 10 to 11, 10 to 11. So
Yeah.
I just quickly before we finish, I wonder how many teams in the history of the NFL have been 10-point favorites 1 week and then 10-point underdogs the next week, like the Broncos are against the Panthers and then the Ravens. That must nearly
Oh,
be a
you next? Are
first.
you 10 points next week? Are you? Or
Yeah,
9.5?
9.5. Yeah, that must be a
So
first, honestly.
I presume then if the Ravens played the Panthers, it would be -20.
Well,
Surely that makes sense.
you'd assume so, and to be honest, I'd probably take the Ravens then as well because that would just be like 50-0 probably. But yeah, there we go. Those are the picks. Mate, best luck this week. Hopefully it's a fruitful national end, national tight end day for us both. And yeah, we could both be back up to 500 if everything goes well.
Yeah, I mean, I need a 6-0, but yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's doable. It's doable.
nearly there last week. All right. Cheers, mate. And thank you, everyone else, for listening. Goodbye.